if you're doing like a really constrained window to say 4 or 6 or 8 hours, I would probably suggest that it is important to either well plan the nutrients or take a supplement to make sure you're hitting all that regard. Maybe I would even add that regardless of fasting. What do you think in terms of supplementing while you're fasting? Is that a thing that comes up commonly?
Yeah, so if you're doing daily fasting, you don't need to do any more supplementation than you would do, if you're eating in an 8-hour window, let's say, then if you're
Mm-hmm.
eating in a 16-hour window, you should be eating more or less the same amount of food. Now, what actually happens, and this is why people lose weight, is they actually eat a little less food. And so slowly over time, people do lose weight on these intermittent fasting narrowed feeding windows. But, assuming you're getting enough calories a day, maybe for one person it's 1,500 calories, maybe for another person that's doing a lot of exercise, it's 3,000 calories, but whatever it is, if you're getting enough calories to stay at a healthy weight and you're eating a varied diet, you don't need to do any more supplementation on an intermittent fasting protocol, a daily fasting regimen, than you need to do in normal life. Now, of course, those of us who are vegans know you need to be taking a vitamin B12, right? If you're doing, for example, the diet that I mentioned that Alan Goldhammer does, which is no, minimally processed stuff, and that includes no added salt, no added oil, no added sugar, you're probably not getting iodine. So, because comes to most of
Mm.
us in table salt or through dairy or something like that. So, you may happen, if you're one of those people, to need to take an iodine supplement. If you're me and you live in northern Colorado, you need to take a vitamin D supplement. But these things are true whether you're fasting or whether you're not fasting. Now, the one caveat to this is where some people do make mistakes, and I will say in the past it has been a fatal mistake, is to take supplements while doing a prolonged fast. And this is one reason why you should fast under medical supervision if you're doing it for many days. And it makes sense. People think, oh, well, we're not eating, so maybe I should help the body out and give it some potassium. Maybe I should help the body out, give it some, I don't know, sodium, give it the vitamin B12, get it vitamin C, whatever it is. So in the past, doctors who were running experiments with fasting for obese people to try to help them lose weight. This was back in the 1960s and 70s, largely in the United States and the UK. These doctors made the error of giving these supplements to people. And the problem is, evolution has not prepared our body to go into this very evolved fasting metabolism, be taking no food, just water, and yet somehow be getting these micronutrients, these little doses. And so the body, to sort of oversimplify things, but the body gets confused. And the body says, oh, well, we're kind of fasting, but maybe we're not fasting. So it changes its metabolism somewhat in unhealthy ways. So I'll give you an example. So we're all familiar with scurvy. That's what happens when you don't get vitamin C, right? Sailors on the seas in days gone by, died, probably more of scurvy than any other cause out there on the high seas until people discovered you should take some citrus with you on your sails around the world. So if you take someone and you fast them and you give them vitamin C, well, first of all, let's say you don't give them vitamin C. The body says, okay, we're fasting. We're going to conserve all of our vitamin C. All right. They don't get scurvy. If you give them a little vitamin C, your body, which has these stores of vitamin C, says, oh, we got nutrients coming in. I'm going to dump my vitamin C. So it dumps its stores that it would otherwise be holding on to during a water-only fast. But now you've got a water and vitamin C fast, and it thinks it's going to be getting all these nutrients and so on. Those people get scurvy. Exact same thing happens with supplements of thiamine and its disease of deficiency, which is beriberi, which no doctor ever sees beriberi anymore if they don't work outside some, really poor tropical area. But you can induce it by fasting and giving people supplements. And there have been cases where supplementation during prolonged fasts has led to fatalities where people have died. The most famous
Mm.
instance of this was known as the protein sparing fast or the liquid protein diet, which was a modified fast that was promoted back in the 1970s. And the theory was, hey, well, you're fasting, you're not getting any protein. We need protein, right? So they would give people these mega doses of protein. These were sold in powders, just like protein powder now in the supplement aisles of grocery stores, all over the world. And what happened was people ended up breaking down far more protein on the fast than they would have had they just been fasting without getting this weird supplementation during their fast. When they refed, it was discovered that the cardiac muscle, their heart muscle, had been severely damaged by this protein dump. And 60 people over the course of several months in several countries died when they were refeeding coming off of this protein fast. So that's a very long way of saying, but I think a very important thing to note, supplementation during a prolonged fast, probably a bad idea. And if you have a supplement that you think you need to take, that's why you need to discuss it with the doctor, and they can tell you whether that's harmful or not. For the same reason, you never want to do a prolonged fast without supervision if you have any illness, if you're on any medications whatsoever, if you suspect you have an illness. But taking medications while fasting, another no-no.